film begins by showing a vibrant landscapes of Thailand, immersing us in a world filled with intrigue. We are introduced to Steven, a daring and enigmatic drug dealer, currently engaged in a transaction with Donnie, the son of a powerful mafia chairman. At that time, the tension hangs thick in the air as Donnie grows increasingly agitated by Steven's tardiness, suspecting his delay to be a result of his involvement with Angel, his new girlfriend, who happens to be a prostitute. At the same time, Donnie wants to take advantage of Steven's connections. He thinks it would be great to form a partnership so he can get things at a cheaper price, about 10% off. Hearing that, Steven gets upset when he finds out about Donnie's plan without discussing it with him first. But things get even worse when Donnie insults Steven's girlfriend and makes him really angry. In a moment of raw fury, Steven swiftly eliminates Donnie and his two henchmen without hesitation. To ensure no trace of their existence remains, he proceeds to obliterate their base with a powerful explosion. A few days later, the calm surface of the river reveals a haunting secret. The police discover the lifeless body of a woman gently floating amidst the water. It becomes evident that she fell victim to a gruesome murder, and to their dismay, they identify her as Angel, Steven's beloved girlfriend, who had earned a living as a prostitute. Determined to bring justice to her tragic fate, the case falls into the hands of Detective Peter and his trusted partner, Tom. Together, they embark on an unwavering quest to unravel the dark and twisted truth behind this heinous crime. On the other hand, Steven grapples with the devastating loss of his beloved. At that moment, his heart heavy with grief and fury. Not long after, Peter turns to him for answers. The following day, Peter travels to Vietnam to meet Angel's father, who turns out to be none other than Johnny, an old friend and former Special Forces soldier. There, Johnny's heart shatters upon receiving the tragic news, especially since he had not seen his daughter for years. Driven by sorrow and a desire for justice, Johnny, despite his military background, requests to be part of the mission to hunt down the culprits. Bound by their friendship, Peter agrees to involve Johnny, but the former soldier understands he must follow Peter's lead, as this case falls under the detective's jurisdiction. On the same day, both Johnny and Peter flew to Thailand. As they arrived, Johnny was immediately confronted with the still body of his daughter. Regret and guilt etched themselves deeply on his face, for his duty to the country had caused him to miss many precious moments with his little girl. Their father-daughter relationship had become strained, but he vowed to find the perpetrator and seek closure. The following day, Peter handed Johnny the investigation file on Angel's death, including personal information about her friends, one of whom happened to be Steven. Unbeknownst to them, Steven was Angel's boyfriend. Once again, Peter emphasized to Johnny that they must not take the law into their own hands. Determined to follow the right path, they decided to tail Steven as he headed towards the headquarters where a transaction was set to take place. Without hesitation, they stormed into the headquarters, triggering a fierce shootout. Unfortunately, Steven managed to escape while his companions met their demise on the spot. Undeterred, the mission continued under the cover of night. At that time, Johnny and Peter visited a prostitute and encountered Elsa, one of Angel's friends. She revealed that Angel had willingly chosen the path of a night worker, climbing her way up from meager earnings of Rp. 50,000 to becoming a high-class prostitute, earning millions of rupiah. Elsa said Angel's clients consisted of the upper echelons of society, ranging from mafia members to officials. There, she shared that before Angel's tragic death, she had been involved with a powerful cartel leader named Jojo. In another part of town, Steven was seen desperately searching for Jojo. Meanwhile, as Johnny walked along the bustling street, his gaze fell upon two young girls on the verge of falling victim to a deceitful man offering cheap accommodation. Moved by compassion, he handed the girls some money and urged them to find a safer place to stay. Determined to uncover the truth, he discreetly followed the man, only to discover that he intended to sell the two girls as commodities. With unwavering resolve, Johnny continued to tail them. On the other hand, Peter and Tom, alerted by the sound of gunshots, sprinted towards the source. Sadly, their arrival came too late, for Johnny had taken matters into his own hands, eliminating the three perpetrators. Consumed by anger, Peter seized Johnny's weapon, his fury palpable in the moment. In another corner of the city, Steven engaged in a meeting with Elsa, seeking answers about Jojo's whereabouts. To his surprise, Elsa informed him that Jojo was no longer their concern, as the police were closing in on his capture. Realizing the imminent danger, she urged Steven to leave town, advising him to remain in hiding until the situation calmed down in a few days. Soon after, the scene shifts to a nightclub, where Tom and Johnny now stand. At that moment, Tom, drawn to Johnny's fierce and unyielding approach in dealing with criminals, has agreed to assist him in finding Jojo without Peter's knowledge. Acting on a tip, Tom discovers that Jojo frequents a secret gambling room within the nightclub. Seizing an opportunity, Johnny bribes the nightclub manager and gains access to the secret room. With swift precision, he eliminates the manager and his henchmen without uttering a word. Finally, face to face with Jojo himself, Johnny demands answers regarding Angel's murder. Despite Johnny's disbelief, Jojo maintains his innocence. In a fit of rage, Johnny proceeds to execute Jojo's father, hoping to force a confession. Yet, Jojo's response remains unchanged. He reveals that he first encountered Angel at an exclusive nightclub, accessible only to those possessing a coveted invitation card. Armed with this newfound information, Johnny delivers a fatal blow to Jojo. At the same time, Peter and his fellow officers arrive at the scene, greeted by the grim sight of lifeless bodies strewn about. There, Peter holds a deep conviction that his closest friend, Johnny, is responsible for this bloodshed. Indeed, outside the club, he spots Johnny's silhouette. Overwhelmed with regret for involving Johnny in this pursuit, Peter acknowledges the gruesome reality that his friend has taken the lives of 15 individuals within a mere 15 hours. In a bittersweet realization, he comes to terms with Johnny's brutal actions, recognizing that if faced with a similar situation involving his own daughter, he too might resort to such ruthless measures. Shortly after, Peter extends his hospitality to Johnny, offering him shelter within his own home. Eventually, he agrees to aid Johnny in seeking revenge, even if it means resorting to Johnny's brutal methods. Together, Johnny, Peter, and Tom set out for Angel's residence, determined to uncover the truth. Upon arrival, they encounter Angel's friends, Crystal and Patrick. There, Johnny questions their whereabouts, sensing their nervousness as they attempt to conceal their ignorance of Angel's tragic fate. At the same time, Peter probes further, asking about the names of individuals who held significance in Angel's life. Soon after, Crystal reveals that two men held a special place in Angel's heart, and they were Sammy and Steven. Then, as Crystal prepares coffee, a sudden explosion shatters the tranquility of the room, claiming the lives of Crystal and Patrick. Unbeknownst to them, the orchestrator of this deadly blast is Sammy, Angel's pimp. Without uttering a single word, Sammy swiftly eliminates Tom. Filled with anguish and fury, Johnny confronts Sammy, demanding to know if he is responsible for his daughter's death. However, Sammy remains silent, his fear evident as he stands before Johnny, awaiting his fate. At that moment, Sammy's voice trembled as he admitted his profound love for Angel. He had treated her like a daughter and couldn't bear it when she chose to leave him for her new boyfriend, Steven. Since that time, Sammy harbored deep resentment towards Steven, blaming him for Angel's descent into drug addiction. In a fit of anger, he lashed out at Angel, causing her grave harm. Yet, Sammy confessed that he had not taken her life. Leaving Peter and Johnny bound and helpless, Sammy departed, leaving them at the mercy of their surroundings. However, luck favored them as they managed to escape just before the house erupted into a devastating explosion. In a dramatic turn, the scene shifts to the airport, where Sammy intends to flee the country. In a covert act of vengeance, Johnny discreetly injects a poisonous substance into Sammy's chest, sealing his fate. Shortly after, Sammy's life starts slipping away little by little, and his death becomes the final result of their strong desire for revenge. Then, as evening descends, Peter and Johnny infiltrate the exclusive nightclub mentioned by Jojo. Disguised as patrons in search of companionship, they immerse themselves in the cover of darkness. Soon, their actions spring forth into motion. During their carefully planned attack, Peter and Johnny quickly get rid of one of the guards stationed there, eliminating the obstacle that stood in their way. In a climactic twist, Johnny confronts the club owner, who unveils himself as none other than Steven. Despite Steven's denial of Angel's murder, Johnny remains unconvinced, leading to a fierce brawl between the two. Their fists collide in a battle of wills, yet Johnny emerges victorious, incapacitating Steven. Seizing the opportunity, Johnny puts a deadly amount of poison into a needle and uses it to bring an end to Steven's deceitful life. Determined to unearth the truth, Johnny turns to Steven's new girlfriend, hoping she holds the key to unveiling Angel's killers. However, like others before her, she claims ignorance, explaining that Angel had spent a prolonged period at the club before her tragic demise. Soon after, Peter takes Johnny to seek medical aid from a man named Mikhail, who had sustained gunshot wounds. Then, once Johnny has recovered, he and Peter come across Elsa, who is revealed to be the leader of the cartel. There, Elsa shares the shocking information that she has a video showing the moment Angel was killed. She obtained this video from Angel's laptop. In exchange for revealing the video, Elsa implores Peter to refrain from interfering with her operation, particularly after Johnny's elimination of Steven, who had been her longtime business partner. Unable to resist the temptation of the truth, Peter and Johnny waste no time in watching the video. The shocking revelation unfolds before their eyes that Angel did not die due to an act of violence but rather died because of a fatal drug overdose. She had been engaged in a drug-fueled gathering alongside her companions, Crystal and Patrick. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is revenge is a great way to solve your problems, as long as you bring poison and explosions along.